So I will explain 2019 I-Lower secondary exam paper. First we have few MCQs. First question is, which organ system is shown in the diagram? So here we have mouth connected to the stomach and small intestine and large intestine. So it's the digestive system. Next one, which of the following is the correct chemical symbol of copper? So it's Cu, copper. Next one, what would be used to measure the current flow in a lamp? Current flow will be measured by using an ammeter, and it should be connected in series. Next one, the diagram shows the human breathing system. What is the name of the organ labeled X? So that should be lungs. Next one, what is most likely pH of a strong alkali? So strong alkalis are above pH 7. Alkalis are above pH 7, and strong alkali will be more towards 13 and 14. So answer is D. Sixth question, the diagram shows some parts of a typical plant cell labeled A to E. Give the letter that labels the permanent vacuole. So permanent vacuole is given in capital B. Give the letter that labels the cell wall. Cell wall is given in E. Give two ways in which the typical plant cell is different to a typical animal cell. So you can say animal cell does not have a cell wall. Or you can say animal cell does not have chloroplasts. And you can say animal cells do not have a vacuole also. Next question. The bungee jump is an activity that involves jumping from a tall structure or platform while changing to a bungee cord. The diagram below shows a performance before bungee jumps of a platform. Name the form that pulls the bungee jumper towards the ground. That's the force you need to mention. So that force is weight. The box connects the names of 6 different types of energies. When the bungee jumps falls, the platform is gravitational potential, energy is transferred as kinetic energy. As the jumper falls, the bungee cord will stretch. When the bungee cord is stretched, the energy is stored as elastic energy. Next one. The diagram shows a bar magnet. Place a tick in the circle when the magnetic field around the bar magnet is strongest. So you have to use a tick. So I will move to this. And so here it was closer to the North Pole, the magnetic field will be the strongest. Okay, so next one, the scientists give a simple demonstration of magnetic forces using two magnets A and B. Magnet B appears to float above magnet A. The top surface of magnet A is a North Pole. So you can see A and B here. B is floating above A. Explain what caused magnet B to float above magnet A. So definitely you can see some type of repulsion. So we will say the two magnets are repelling and magnet B In order to repel magnet A from magnet B, bottom surface of the magnet B should also be a north pole. Should be a north pole. And you can write, if you want, the next step, the like poles repels each other. Okay, so next one. Selective breeding can be used to improve the yield of wool from sheep. Describe how selective breeding could be used to produce sheep with a high yield of wool. So let's see now. We discussed very recently about selective breeding. So we are doing selective breeding to get some type of a desirable feature. So they're asking for more yield of wool from sheep. So we will see how to do that, how to do the process. So first what you need to do is select two sheep which is having a lot of wool. So select two sheep which produce as parents. As parent animals. Then second step, we'll just say select. Second step, breed from these sheep then select the offspring with the most wool. Select the offspring with most wool. Then next step is again let them breed. So and breed from them. Repeat above step 4. Several generations. So finally you need to select only the variety which is giving more wool. Next one, selective breeding can also be used to increase the yield of tomato plants. The box contains factors that may also affect the yield of tomato plants: color of the tomato, size of greenhouse, shape of tomato, type of soil. Give one abiotic factor. So abiotic factors is non-living things which is affecting. So it should be type of soil. Next one, which gas is produced during photosynthesis? That is oxygen. Oxygen. Next one, the diagram shows a pyramid of numbers that represent the number of organisms at each stage in a food chain. So which are the producers in this food chain? It's easy, it's lettuce plant. Which is the example of ceramic material? That is glass. Next one, the diagram shows the forces acting on a car as it travels along a road. Which one of these describes how the car is moving? That is, now you can see the front arrow is larger, the backwards arrow is smaller than that, but arrows which is going upwards and downwards, those are equal. So which means it's the force is to the front is more, which means it's accelerating forward. Next one, a car has a mass of 1200 kilograms. What is the weight of the car on the earth? So 1200 kilograms into 10, you will get the weight. That will be 12,000 newtons. So I will just quickly note down the calculation here. W equals mg is the equation that we use. So W equals mass is 1200 into 10. So answer will be 12,000 newtons. What's the next question? 15. Some components of the circulatory system are shown. So you need to connect. Arteries, they carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body tissues. Next one, capillaries allow movements of substances between body and body tissues. This is the correct way to connect. 16. The plant leaves have adapted to enable photosynthesis to take place. The diagram shows some adaptations of possible reasons. So let's see how to connect these. A large surface area will help to capture more sunlight. Then lot of stomata will prevent water. Lot of stomata will allow gas exchange, and waxy upper surface will help to prevent water loss. Next one, the diagram shows two balloons. Each balloon is hanging from a string, and each balloon has been given an electrostatic charge. Give two reasons why the balloons hang apart as shown in the diagram. So the reason is, if they are repelling, that means they have the same charge. So we can write both have the same charge. Because of that, they both repel each other. So we can write they are repelling each other due to the like charges. They have the same charges, because of that they are repelling each other. So we use a term for these charges, electrostatic charges. Three forces act on each balloon. The diagram shows one of three balloons acting on B. Complete the diagram by adding labeled arrow to show other two forces acting on the balloon. So we'll use this arrow. First one is there will be weight acting. So when you're marking, it's better to start from the center of this balloon and go downwards like this. So it will be the weight, and there should be another force which is electrostatic repulsion. So I will take it from here to this direction, this way. So I will mark it, I will name it. This should be electrostatic repulsion. Then downwards it should be weight. Upwards you have tension of the force, tension force of the in the string. Next one, the green copper carbonate is heated. It undergoes a reaction called thermal decomposition. The product of the reaction are black solid and a colorless gas. Take the names of two products. So carbon, you need to find out what other products will be formed. So once the copper carbonate is heated, we'll get copper oxide, and also we'll get, okay, I'll put the tick here, and also we'll get carbon dioxide. Hope you can remember the equation for this. Next one, zinc metal reacts with oxygen. Complete the word equation for the reaction of zinc metal with oxygen. So it should be zinc oxide reduce. Zinc oxide will be produced. Displacement reaction can be used to place metals in reactivity series. Iron metal is less reactive than zinc metal. Predict two changes that will take place when the piece of zinc metal is added to the solution of iron sulfate. So they are telling that iron metal is less reactive than zinc metal. So if there is an iron sulfate given and if you are adding zinc metal which is more reactive, the zinc metal will displace iron. So we will write it. Zinc will displace iron. And you can write, once it reacted, we can say what are the products happens, right? Predict what two changes that can happen. So zinc sulfate will be produced because iron sulfate is reacting with zinc. So zinc sulfate will be produced. So when it's producing, the temperature would increase. Okay, so let's go to the next question. The diagram shows a ray of light being reflected at a mirror. Label the angle of reflection. So it should be here. The light is coming from this side and it's going away from here. So angle of reflection should be here. Angle of reflection. So if you have a chance to draw a curve here, that would be better. A curve like this. That's how we mark the angle. Next one, again the reactivity series is given. Explain why carbon could be used to obtain zinc from zinc oxide, but carbon could not be used to obtain magnesium from magnesium oxide. So it's a 2-mark question, so we'll see. And you can see carbon is in the middle, so it's above zinc, but it's below magnesium. So that's the basic reason that we can't use. So we'll write carbon is more reactive than zinc, but it is less reactive than magnesium. Let's see what is the next point that we can write. Carbon can dissipate or carbon can displace zinc, removing the oxygen, or we can say carbon cannot displace. So let's see. Carbon can displace zinc by removing the oxygen from zinc oxide. Or you can say carbon cannot displace magnesium by removing the oxygen from magnesium, because magnesium oxide is given and zinc oxide is given. Next question. Which of the following metal groups it group 1 of the periodic table? So that will be sodium. Which one of these is measured in volts, that is potential difference? Which condition is caused by lack of vitamin D? So anemia, blindness, rickets and scurvy given. It should be rickets. Next one, the diagram shows a simple wave which shows ABCD shows the amplitude of the wave. So A shows double time the amplitude, so the answer should be D. Next question, this is a chemical symbol for element iron. What is the atomic number of iron? So atomic number stays down here, so the answer is 26A. Substance can um, mm, be described as being pure or being a mixture. Describe the difference between pure substances and mixtures. So pure substances always contain one type of atom or one type of molecule, and mixture contains two or more different substances which are not chemically bonded together. A mixture contains two or more different substances which are not chemically bonded together. Next question. A student investigates the reaction between calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. She added dilute hydrochloric acid to some calcium carbonate chips in a conical flask. She measures the volume of the gas produced with the gas syringe. So let's see, acid is reacting with metal carbonate. You need to fill in. So use words from this given box. So here it will be, once acid reacting with metal carbonate, it will form the salt, water and carbon dioxide because it's metal carbonate. Next one, write the chemical equation for the reaction between calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. So it's the chemical equation. I will have to use the bigger numbers because I can't make it small here. So calcium carbonate CaCO3 plus twice time HCl or 2HCl will give calcium chloride 2 plus carbon dioxide plus H2O. Okay, so now use this size changing. Okay, the whole thing will change. Yeah. Okay, I think you can remember the answer. It will form calcium carbonate reacting with hydrochloric acid will give calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. It's better if you can write the states also. Next question. The student measures the volume of gas collected every minute until the reaction stops. The graph shows the result. State the total volume of gas produced in the reaction. It is 20 because if you look at the graph, it goes like this. Total volume. State one way in which the rate of reaction could be increased. So we have discussed about three methods that we can increase the rate of reaction. So one is increasing the temperature, and you can increase the concentration of hydrochloric acid, so it will increase the reaction. Or you can write make the small piece into powder, calcium carbonate into powder. The graph shows that the reaction stops after about 6 minutes. When the reaction stops, there is still some calcium carbonate in the bottom of the conical flask. State why the reaction stops. Because the acid has been used up. Next question. The diagram below shows the forces involved when hand is holding up a brick. Elbow acts as a pivot and then arm is not moving. The force F produced by the bicep muscle is balancing the force of brick. The downward force of the brick is 15 newtons. So in between here, the force and the this is the pivot we call, that is 4 centimeters. Here we have 40 centimeters. Equation is given. Calculate the clockwise moment. So clockwise is the direction of where the clock is moving. So you can take this weight is moving towards the clockwise direction. So we'll find out the answer. Force, we know the value 15 newtons acting downwards into 40 centimeters. So I will convert that into meters, 0.4. The answer will be 6 Newton meters. So I'm writing it here, 6. Next one, say the size of the anti-clockwise moment provided by the force of the bicep muscle. So you have to apply the same moment. So we will apply, so same moment should be applied by the bicep muscles in order to keep this in balance. So we can write the answer 6 newtons. Newton meter. Next one, viruses cause many infectious diseases. The one reason why virus is not classed as a living organism, not classed as a living organism. So we know viruses does not have a nucleus, and viruses cannot reproduce independently. So we'll write one of that. So we'll write viruses Next one, antibiotics are used in treatment of certain illnesses. Explain why antibiotics are not effective in the treatment of flu. So flu is caused by virus. Then antibiotics only work against the bacteria. Or you can say it does not work against virus. Next question, a student investigate how the extension of spring is affected by force. She uses apparatus as shown in the diagram. So you can see force is given, and you can see the spring is hanged here without any force. It's just this much, and when the mass is added, it's this much. So extension is given in values. Use the information in the diagram to complete a table of result. So when 3 Newton is added, you can look at the reading. If you look carefully, you can see it's 1.8. So we will enter the value here. It's 1.8 centimeters. Next one, plot the result of the table on the grid below. Use a suitable scale for vertical and horizontal axis. So let's see how to use the points. Force in this axis and the extension in this axis. So I'll write it here. Extension in centimeters. So let's see how to divide the values. Now here the maximum value is 3.6 and here it's 6. So I think we can take one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yeah. Then to take 3.4, I think we can go up to 4 here. So if we can divide in the middle, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we can take 3, 2, do not. Here we take 1, 2, 3. We can write here. Can mark 3 here. It should be 4. Okay, likewise. So here it should be 5. Now I'll mark the plot. I'll mark the points. So join the points with the line of best fit they are telling, and after that 0 is 0, so I put the dot here. Second one, one it's 0.6, so one it's 0.6. Second one it's 1.2, then 1.8, 1.2, 1.8, then 2.7, 3 and 3.6. 2.7, 3 and 3.6. Okay, you can make it more accurate. After that, you can draw the line of best fit. So since all of these are almost very close, I will start from here and draw a line of best fit. So we can ignore one point. Let's see, yeah. So there's an anomalous point, so I will ignore that one and draw. So this is the anomalous point because all others are aligning and except this one. Take two conclusions that can be drawn from the investigation. So you can see as the force increases, extension increases, and also there's a linear relationship between the force and the extension. Next one, state how the student could make her results more reliable. So we'll write about that. In order to make the experiment more reliable, that person can repeat the experiment and find out the average. Repeat and find the average value. Next question. The student concerned about the effects of pollution and acid rain on food production. So likewise he is explaining the experiment. pH values are given, number of peas germinated are given. Name the piece of equipment that the student should use to measure 20 cubic centimeter of each solution. So that should be a measuring cylinder. Describe how the student could measure pH of the solution used in this investigation. So you can see it's 2 marks, so we will give 2 points. Oh yeah, so you can say use a universal indicator, solution or paper, to check and match and compare with indicators. So for each of these colors there is a pH value, so you can match with that one to find out the pH value, approximate pH value, because they are saying how student could measure the pH. The box shows some variable that may affect the student's investigation. The independent variable they are asking. So actually they are changing the pH solution. So independent variable is pH, should be simple P, capital H. pH of solution is changed. Depending on that, the number of peas germinated will change. Next question. Student investigates how temperature affects the solubility of two white solids A and B. So you can see two of the graphs. State the temperature at which the two solids are equally soluble. So you can look at the graph and go through. You need to say the temperature. So it's in after 70. It's almost closer to 72. like in between, yeah, in between 70 and 72. So the answer should be 71 degree Celsius. I'm using the simple O here because we can't use that zero, that symbol, degree symbol. Explain why the results do not entirely support the student's prediction. Yeah. So the solid A is gradually changing and solid B is gradually changing, but solid A is rapidly changing. That's why it's very hard to give a prediction. So we can say when the temperature increases, the more solid A and B dissolves. So that's one reason. When the temperature increases, more of solid A and B dissolves. Or you can say solid A isn't always more soluble. Or you can say high temperature above 71 solid A is more soluble. Okay, next one. Calculate the mass of solid A that was dissolved in 200 cubic centimeter of water at 50 degrees Celsius. So let's see. You need to say at 50 degrees Celsius of 200 cubic millimeters. 50 at 50, if you go through, you can see the value is. So, but if you can mark by using a dotted line here. Since I don't have the dotted line, I'm using this. So from here to here, the value is 14, but this is only for 100 cubic centimeters, so the value should be doubled. So I will type the equation. So it should be 14 grams into twice, because this was for 100 grams, and if it is for 200 grams, it should be twice time to 18 cubic centimeters. It's 18 grams. These are the answers.